also back with Gwinnett Lawns and beautiful. Ooh, look at that sky. Atlanta, Georgia. Today is January the 29th, 2025. It is 60 degrees right now, and I think it's going to get 66, 67 degrees. Can I tell you, we're moving in the right direction. So I'm just going to ask the question before I even say anything else. Is your equipment costing you money, or is it making you money? So you guys know a lot of the content on my channel is about maintaining your equipment, getting the most out of your equipment. So what I'm doing right now is I am and have already sharpened the blades. So if you haven't watched the other videos, I'm still running the X blade. I have the Ballard Ripper blade on the bottom and the Gold Hybrid blade on the top. And let me tell you something. If you've got any amount of leaves to mulch, that is the setup. As long as you have a chute blocker on there. Well, it's good without a chute blocker, but you're going to be more efficient and take less time if you have the chute blocker. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to put these sunglasses on because it's really bright, so excuse me if that's rude. But I went ahead and sharpened all 6 blades on there, and the grass here is going to come out of dormancy starting in around March. Our mowing season starts the first week of March and goes through basically to the first week of December. So March and April, it's going to really start greening up. And I'm going to keep the setup that I have on there and see how it does with actually cutting grass. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt what it can do with leaves. What I may do, depending on the cut quality, I may put these blades. This is and you know, if you've heard me talk about high lift blades are not optimal if you're cutting a warm season grass because you cut really low and it will pull stringers out. Cutting Bermuda, especially Bermuda and especially Zoysia, it's like cutting a Berber carpet. It's super thick. And to a certain degree, also centipede. So if you're cutting cool season grasses, yes, a high lift blade setup would be advantageous because you're cutting at, 4 inches, 3.5, 3 3/4, 4, 4 1/4, or whatever. And fescue is less dense. It's taller, but it's less dense, and that high lift helps to straighten the blade and allow it to have a cleaner cut. I do have some yards that have, like the backyards are fescue, and I used to have, you guys have seen it on past videos, I had a huge giant fescue yard I used to cut. And it had a mixture of a regular Kentucky fescue, it had bluegrass and some beautiful grasses in it. And it did fine with the medium and low lift blades that I use, and I also cut that kind of low, right? But if I was going to cut it at where you guys would normally cut it in the Northeast or wherever you have that type of grass, I would cut it higher. And I can't really comment on about Florida or Bahia grass. I know you guys cut that stuff higher, but it's pretty dense. So I've never even, well, I've seen the grass, I've never cut it. We don't have that around here. As I always have said on my videos, Bermuda is king. So answer that question in the comments below. Is your mower or your equipment costing you or saving you money? Now, this is the time to get all your maintenance done, right? So next month, February, we're pretty much going to just be doing leaf cleanups, some leaf mulching if that pops up. I have had people reach out and want quotes on grass service. Usually these are people that have a lot of weeds because with these temperatures in the 60s, the weeds are going to start popping up. And I think I have some weeds, maybe a little bit right there. Onions will pop up. But anyway, every bit of maintenance that you do on your mowers is money saved, right? And these are your money makers. If you're in lawn care, you have got to protect your investment. You've got to protect what allows you to have your livelihood, which is your mowers. So I would tell you, to 100% this year. Make it a commitment this year to stay on top of your maintenance, your oil changes, your air filter maintenance. If you have grease points on the mower, the Hustler Trim Star only has, it's got grease points here and here, and there's one where the pivots are up under there. You can't really see it, but this is the Jungle Gems jack. This works great for mowers that are lighter. It's perfect for a Trim Star. This only weighs, I don't know, less than 800 pounds. But let's see, I haven't serviced this in 2 weeks because I haven't used it very much. Now see, here's a perfect example. This filter has maybe 5 hours, maybe 8 hours of runtime on it. So what this amount of debris on this outer filter, right, is slightly reducing the airflow. But whatever you do, especially if you're mulching leaves and it's in the fall and it's super dry, a lot of times I will clean my air filter, and I mean vacuum it. Don't blow air through it. Vacuum it, tap it out, do it that way, because you don't want to drive the dirt further into the media. You want to pull it out. So tap it and then use a vacuum and vacuum on the outside. You shouldn't have anything on the inside. So make sure that's done. Make sure you check your oil. Before I crank these mowers up every single morning, I pull that dipstick out and check the oil, because at some point your mower is going to spring a leak, and you don't know if you're going to just be unfortunate one day and you're going to crank it up and the mower had the crankshaft seal or something went out on it, and you're running with no oil, and then it locks up, because those engines are $18, $19, $2,000. It's a lot. And so make sure that you're staying on top of that. Hydro oil. Most of the Hydro Gear mowers have a 200-hour service interval, so you need to stay on top of that and use good quality oil. So I've switched over. This is a Hydro Gear ZT 2800s, which are on a lot of mowers. A lot of mowers have the 3100s, 3400s, 3800s, 4400s. They all have they service the exact same. They're almost identical in size to each other, except the 4400, it's a little bigger. But the filters, it has one filter for each transaxle. If you have a pump and motor setup, like a Parker, Danfoss, something like that, they usually will have, may have just one filter for the whole system. But whatever the setup, make sure that you change that, because those hydros are, one hydro is as much as one of those Kawasaki engines. It's a lot of money. And if you're not going to install it yourself, then you have labor to install it. And unless it's something that's under warranty, if you just neglect changing your hydrostatic fluid, you're going to have a problem. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to cost yourself money. Maintaining these mowers is super easy. You can do it yourself. Make sure to check your belts, especially your hydro belt. I've had one come off in the yard before, and that's no good. So you want to check all that stuff when it's sitting in the driveway or your shed, your workshop, wherever you got your mowers. Heck, some people may even do it inside in their box truck or on the trailers. But whatever you make sure to check all that stuff, because it's so much easier to catch it here than to have it, fail on the customer's yard. And sometimes that's just unavoidable. But if the belt breaks because it's old, that's on you. This belt came off it was on my 54 Trim Star, but it came off because a stick went down in there and rolled it off, and I was able to get it back on. But if it's got a nick in it or something from a pine cone, you should be blowing out you should be taking these guards off every other day or so and blowing them out, because gumballs get in there, pine cones, sticks, and all that. And that area is hot because the spindles are spinning around, and if you've got dry grass in there, you can start a fire and burn your mower up. That's not under warranty. Sticks can get in there and run the belt off, chunk the belt up. It's just check all that stuff out, right? So you should be doing it weekly, and you should keep up I just made a spreadsheet and I printed it out, have it in a clear folder, and I write the hours on the mower and what I did to it. I have it going all the way back since the mowers were new. In fact, every piece of equipment I have, I do that for, so I know. I'm going to be going through tomorrow, I may video that, I don't know. Every piece of stick equipment I have, I've got, and I'm going to start doing this. I didn't normally do this before because it doesn't get used quite as much, but like I run all Echo stuff, and I have a whole box of the maintenance kits. They come with the plugs, the filters, the air filters. If you have two-stroke, you know, there's no valves or anything to worry about like you would on a Stihl. Get that stuff taken care of in the off season, the beginning of the year. You can do it at the end of the year, whatever you want to do, and that way it'll just keep running smoothly. The only time I've ever had a piece of two-stroke equipment, I'm going to say fail or not start running bad enough to where I had to use a spare one. I had one or two times where the spark plug was it was really old. You can get more than 100 hours out of these, depending on how heavy you are on the throttle. But just replace the plug, and that was all it was. It was super quick, and those plugs are really cheap. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing some more maintenance on the box truck. I'm going to be doing the transmission oil or fluid. I've got some stuff that's coming today, some AMSOIL. I'm going to be doing a fluid exchange. I just did one on the Chevy. That's on my other channel, my Diesel World channel. There should be a link down in the description, but I am going to show you, if you've got a box truck, those transmissions, those 6L90Es, it's a GM transmission, it's a Chevy transmission, and it's got the Chevy gas engine in it, the 6-liter. If you've got a newer box truck, then you've got the, I believe it's a, you may have, I don't know if they have the 8 or 10 speed, but they have the 6.2 liter engine. It's completely a different engine. That's my favorite engine of all time, is that L96 6-liter. It's indestructible. I mean, it takes some abuse you would not imagine. But they don't make it anymore. They stopped. And now they have the 6.2. Anyway, so I'm going to keep going with this. I'm not going to show it. I've already showed that before. I wanted to show you guys the blades. The blades, phenomenal. I'm telling you. I saw a video, and I want to close with this. I saw a video years ago. I don't remember who it was, but he was ragging on the X-Blade setup of how bad it is, how it's almost like he was saying that it was tearing the grass up and all that. And I saw that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's something I need to stay away from. And I just never pursued it. And I'm telling you, at least for leaves, that's all I can speak for right now, because I've only used it during the fall and the winter. I don't like using that phrase, it's a game changer, because it's overused. But I'm telling you, it's a mowing changer. I'm very excited to be able to try this on different types of grasses. And just see what happens, especially in the morning when there's a lot of dew. So there's a lot of different combinations I can play with doing this, but I'm definitely going to be using the setup that is on there right now. I sharpen the blades once a week, and depending on how it performs, like I said, I may put one of those other blades on there. I was having a little bit too much suction on that for the leaves. It was blowing out the front, but that's not going to be an issue if I'm cutting grass. So I don't know. If it starts acting like it would if I had a normal high lift blade on there, I definitely would take them off. But I could use another regular blade on the bottom that's like a medium or low lift blade, and have the mulching blade. I run the Ballard Ripper blades on the mower year round. That's the best blade I've ever found, at least for cutting centipede, zoysia, Bermuda, well, and fescue. I can't comment on St. Augustine and Bahia and all that stuff, because that's basically like, that's all, in warmer areas, Louisiana and Florida and coastal Georgia, stuff like that. So But what I can tell you is that for the warm season grasses that we have up here, especially Bermuda, that's 99% of what I cut. It's phenomenal. Try it, you know. And yep, I will definitely be putting that setup on the other Trimstar. And whenever I do get a mower, a stand-up mower, I will be putting the X blades on there too, because it makes that big of a difference. It saves time. That's the bottom line. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening to me ramble on about yet another maintenance type of an issue. But if you want, put down in the comments if you want me to do any videos on how I do all the maintenance for all the stick equipment, because I'm going to do that. I believe I'm going to do it tomorrow. So anyway, I will talk to you guys on the next one.